All right, what's up, everybody? This is the Long Story Short Show. My name's Corey, and this is Jen, and we just watched Doom Patrol Episode 3. So, besides giving you a play-by-play of everything that happened, we thought it would be better to talk to you about all, like, the symbolisms with puppetry and people pulling strings of another person, things like that they talked about in the episode. So, I guess we could kind of go in order. The first one that really popped up to me was like Crazy Jane. How in the very beginning they showed that scene with her where she works seamlessly with her other personalities. It's not like you don't get the real feeling that she's being pulled along or like her powers are a burden to her. Really, she kind of just adapts to them. And immediately after we go there, we're going to places like Cyborg and his dad, where we're finding out like Cyborg's dad's like pulling the strings. You said like Robot Man too. What was that one you had about Robot Man?
All the other patrol members pull the Robot Man along because he's still trying to figure out like, do I still go with my old life before? That's why he's struggling with the phone number with his daughter, or should I just create this whole new life of a robot?
Yeah.
So since he doesn't know and he's not deciding, everyone else kind of just pulls him along for the ride.
Yeah, he kind of just shows up and he like reacts to a lot of things, and we really see that at the very end during his fight scene, where how he just pretty much just reacts to everything. He doesn't really digest anything. He kind of just goes with the flow, and then later it all hits him. Mm-hmm. And I think that's a big thing about him. He's like a big PTSD kind of person.
Yeah.
And Cyborg, we see what's pulling Cyborg strings. We're seeing how his mom died.
Oh, yeah, his dad
too. Yeah,
the video,
definitely.
now that we've watched the video so many times with Cyborg running it back, it really is like ambiguous to like how the explosion kind of happened, because in his dream you get it from his point of view, POV, and so it does look like it's his fault when he.
But the explosion is somewhere else.
But when he played back the tape from the lab, it showed the explosion came from somewhere else.
Yep.
And that's why he asked if it's been augmented or anything like that.
Because it's different than his actual dream. So that's definitely got to be a weird thing, like half robot, half person. You don't really know what's authentic to you and what's just fact from what the robot, what's his name, Grid, is speaking out to you.
Yeah.
We have Elastigirl, and we're pretty much, it gets to a point where her and Cyborg are alone, and they basically dissect each other, and they're like, hey, this is why you're not shit and this is why you're not shit.
Yep.
But the thing about her is she's like, I know I'm not shit.
Yeah. She's like, I know what I can do, what I cannot do, and no one wants to see what I cannot do. So like, I know that it's best for me to just like stay in. But I can also see from Cyborg's point of view, like she is pretty elastic. Like it's going to be interesting how she eventually learns to control her powers.
Yeah, and contribute to the group as well.
Yeah.
So we get farther into the story, and we're starting to learn about Mr. Negative more, his flashbacks.
Yeah.
Him and his wife had like an estranged relationship before he was actually supposed to go up in space. And after he got back from space, his wife finally told him that she's not trying to be pulled along like this anymore.
Yep.
She's actually going to take the kids and leave. So you have another like really heavy like puppet symbolism. I don't know like the words I should be saying right now.
I do like how with Larry, or Mr. Negative, is that he was the puppeteer before.
Yeah.
Like in his flashbacks in this episode, it shows that
it's like karma now.
He was pulling everyone else along in his life.
Yeah.
Because he had this side relationship, and then of course his family, and he was just pulling everyone else along with what he wanted to do and his goals. So it's kind of nice to see that after the accident, things have flipped, and now he feels like the puppet, and he's feel like he's being pulled along and no control.
And when he comes face to face with that entity that's like sharing the body with him, it's like, nah, like, look, you haven't, like, once again, like, you ain't shit either.
Yeah,
like,
you
I know I
always
ain't
run.
shit, but that's a big thing about this show. Like, I know I ain't shit, but you ain't shit either. Like when Crazy Jane goes and sees the doctor, I guess they go and find this place called Fuchtopia, Fuch, and they make a joke about trying to spell it. But they have an actual play with puppets where we see how Mr. Nobody came to be, like the villain of this series. So basically he came to be because like these Nazi scientists, after, all the Nazis fell, they all went to like South America, like Argentina, where are they? Like,
Paraguay.
Paraguay right now. Yeah, Uruguay, Paraguay, things like that. They established a camp where they are now giving people powers that they have stolen from alternate realities in other dimensions. So it's a pretty solid plan. The dude, I guess you sign up and you can get one of 28 powers.
Yeah.
So we're gonna eventually see where these 28 powers come from. But the doctor who's in charge is actually the opposite of Crazy Jane, where he has all these bodies but one actual mind, where Crazy Jane has 64 minds in one body. So it's a real cool duality that they play there too.
They did show a new power with Crazy Jane too. So I do like how, because she has 64, they're kind of gradually giving it to us. We don't know all their names, but we have seen them. So I also like that as well. It's kind of like,
we don't even need that many either. Yeah.
The doctor also mentioned with Crazy Jane, like, who is the real, like, singular mind in her body, because it might not even be Jane.
Yeah.
It might be somebody else that maybe we talked about, or maybe we haven't, that was actually the original little girl before all the traumatic stuff happened. So
yeah, I hope we get to see something like that, because they definitely like using that Crazy Jane power with the fire where she grows. I don't know what that personality is. I read it in that book, but I think I might have to actually post that so I can remember it more. But yeah, so at the very end, we got Larry's flashback, we got Von Fook, we got Jane. And Jane actually, in order to get inside the place, tries to make a deal, which further strengthens that she works so well with like these people who are quote unquote in control of her. And you don't really get that as much as like with Robot Man. He feels like an empty shell. He doesn't feel like a real person. That's like a Pinocchio reference.
And
a puppet
also
reference.
Mr. Negative, he doesn't really have like I said, control. He yells at the entity that's keeping him alive, basically, and he curses at him and calls him all kinds of names, and the dude's like, okay, so the spirit or energy force just leaves his body.
Yeah.
And his body just passes out, goes limp, because that is the energy source that's keeping him alive.
Like, you understand this is like a symbiotic relationship. Like, I help you and you help me. Like, this is like cohabitation.
Like there's no passenger in this vehicle.
Yeah.
Like, we're supposed to be working together, but because you don't like giving up control, I'm just gonna keep leaving your body.
Can't wait for that guy to be like, I don't like you either, Larry. But this is what it is. But yeah, but we want to keep this short. This has been about like 9-10 minutes already. So yeah, that's our first impressions and our thoughts on episode 3, Puppet Patrol. So did you have anything else? Any closing thoughts?
No, just check us out on YouTube at Long Story Short Show for all of our other shows. We just put up the new Comic World for You, and check us out.
That is actually coming up later today. So hopefully when you're watching this, we have them both posted. So you can definitely check that. I'll have that on the end card. And definitely catch y'all later.
See ya.
Hey everybody, this is Corey from the Long Story Short Show, and if you're watching this, I just wanted to say thank you for watching. Please comment, like, and subscribe so we can know if you like this kind of content, or you guys can always recommend content that you guys would like to see in the nearby future. Again, thank you for watching, and we'll see you guys later.